Today we'll be continuing with shelter. Last time we started the mid-afternoon scene. In this video we're going to conclude the mid-afternoon scene. And we're also going to make a choice as who we're going to spend the evening with. I'm going to go with Burry for now. I hadn't known what true cold felt like until I set my foot into these lands. Coming here from the warm south, I only had a vague idea about the precautions that had to be taken when venturing into those lands. Advice from people of the stronger races. I quickly found out how much harsher this venture would be than someone like me as compared to them. My body is much frailer, and the cold is indiscriminate in how hard it strikes. These lands do not welcome life. To come here is a challenge nature itself. One of the monsters thrive here. With each passing day of this white hell, I grew to appreciate all the basic things that I always took for granted. When my rations ran out, I craved a piece of bread or a sip of water. When the ever-present chill seeped warmth out of my body, I longed for cover. All the other worries were distant and trivial. No matter how grand the dreams or ideals one holds, it all turns to nothing once the vessel breaks. Finally, I fell. Everything hurt, my whole body. I would gladly take the pain of being slashed by a sword or the overwhelming torture of what felt like countless cold daggers stabbing from inside. I have heard someone once say that when one's body gives up from the cold, the final moments were supposed to feel warm and pleasant. A big part of me wanted to feel that fake warmth. But a faint flame inside me still refused to give up. I would survive it somehow, and after just a short rest, I would stand back up and continue. In these lifeless lands, at the edge of the world, I knew I would find my purpose. After just a short rest, please, open your eyes. Come on. I beg you. I heard someone's voice, and I was only barely able to feel my numb body being shaken over and over. That didn't feel as pleasant as the dreams that would take over me just a moment earlier. The voice and the shaking brought my attention back to how awful my body felt. They felt real. Oh no, no! The voice cracked, and I felt something heavy resting over my chest. I heard sobbing. With great effort, I opened my eyes. I was being held in a big canine's arms, and he was crying into my chest, tears rolling down his cheeks in tremendous despair. That's a beautiful, kind dog. I raised my trembling hand to wipe his cheek, but I was surprised to find that the tears already frozen in the eyes of kindness fur. The dog jarred his eyes open and turned his face to stare at mine. I chuckled seeing the ice under his eyes. I think that I tried to tell the dog some joke about how cold it was or something, but the words wouldn't leave my throat. Yes, please, speak to me. Do not fall asleep. The canine said, and I felt my body bubbling up and down as we started to run. I have a shelter nearby with fire and food. Just hold on a little longer, and we'll get there. I heard him say, but the words started to blur. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being alive. I do not care who you are or where you hail from. I swear to you that I will not let your heart cease its beating any longer than mine does. I will. I will. He shouted, something so loudly that the rumble of his chest echoed through my whole body, but his exact words eluded me. Despite his pleading, I fell asleep again. It's funny that I was looking for something in these vast lands, but in the end I was the one who was found. by Burry, and then we found friends in each other. We went through a lot together. We fought all kinds of obstacles to reach where we are right now. The challenges never end, and they only seem to escalate in difficulty. But that's all fine. Together we can take whatever the world throws at us, because we're still alive. Let me ask you one last time. Are you certain that you do not want to go out today? It is your afternoon. You can do whatever you please today. Yeah, and I want to spend it with you. Even though we do this every day as our job. Yes, even though the reason that I chose this lifestyle in the first place is because I like doing what we do. And, I like your company. Well, he chuckles and scratches his head and glance happiness and embarrassment. His fluffy tail wags gently. As I do yours, thank you. Besides, if I went to see Matt's room, I bet I would get tangled to something stupid or potentially dangerous again. I want the rest of the day to pass as peacefully as possible. I understand both you and them seem to somehow attract problematic situations. Rest assured that you will be able to have your repose here. Totally. Our kitchen is like a shenanigan-free zone. I cannot guarantee you'll stay there at the best, though. Both Max and Rune are. Just themselves. I'll deal with them somehow. Don't you worry. Hey, Burry. What are you holding in your hand? All this? Burry opens his hand and shows me some kind of smooth little rock, worth the size of a half of my thumb. It's nicely polished, and the light reflects off of it in a beautiful way. I lean closer for a better look, as I have never seen anything like this before. What could it possibly be? A piece of jewelry? I found it under one of the tables. I thought that if you were going outside, you could have returned it to its owner. Whose table was it? Seth was sitting there. The old terrier. Yes, but it doesn't belong to him. This little thing smells very much like teak. Teak? Could it be a relic? I would not know. I do not want to tire you with minor investigation any more than you already have today. It matters little. I will not know. I do not want to tire you with minor investigation any more than you already have today. It matters little. If you have decided to stay here this afternoon, I will simply return to him in the morning before I set off to Mosburg. For now, how about we cook something tasty? We still have a few hours before the evening comes. Heck yeah. What do you want to teach me today? I fasten my apron and start playing around with my favorite knife. I'm not the cook in the tavern. That's Burry's role. I can peel the ingredients or stir the pots when necessary, but I always consider actual cooking as something too hard for me to get any good at. However, Burry convinced me one day to give it a try under his guidance. He wanted to share with me that passion and showed me that anyone could learn to cook. The results were absolutely horrible at first. Burry took his eyes off me only for a moment and somehow managed to burn things that he didn't even know were physically possible to burn. It turned out that I had an incredible anti-talent for cooking, and I was a threat to myself in the kitchen. Burry, however, still believed in me. I tried again another day. Burry wouldn't take his eyes off me even for a moment that time, but I still did everything with my own hands, following his instructions. The results of that one were unforgettable in the best way. It was a simple broth, but it was absolutely delicious. Somehow food cooked with my own hands tasted even better to me than Burry's, even though it was his recipe and objectively my attempt was inferior to his expertise. Hard work has always been known to be the best of spices, he said. When you create something with your own effort, it's always special. That's true to all things in life. Cooking is a vast topic, but Burry convinced me that in the end, it all simply comes down to following instructions. When you follow the same process, you reach the same result. So we started cooking together more often. I still fail a lot, but Burry told me that that's a good thing too. He said that expertise is built on the ground of numerous failures. I don't know if he really meant that or if he just wanted to encourage me. But still, his positive attitude and my feeling of accomplishment when I managed to get something right kept me craving for more. Well, Luke, I know how much you like eating meat. So how about I teach you how to prepare the red meat sauce today? The sauce we serve on noodles and the pies, buns, and that one amazing dish with white noodle seeds and white sauce. I feel myself salivating thinking about it. That's a lot of great different dishes, and all of them use the same ingredient sauce as a base. Burry's red meat sauce. Yes, that one. I will be away tomorrow, so I judge that it would be a good idea to bulk cook something that would last until I'm back. This one's perfect for reheating, even freezing. If need be, I can limit tomorrow's menu just to the noodles and the sauce, so at least you and the guests avoid starvation. But Burry, isn't that recipe super advanced? Nonsense. It is true that there are quite a few steps to follow, and it takes some time. But trust me, I doubt you could boss it so hard that would not be delicious anymore. Even if you make some missteps, I think you may be underestimating my ability to mess things up. I do not. I'll prepare a simplified version, just in case. I know from experience that is more than enough for a wonderful meal. I know you still consider yourself a beginner, but I'm certain that you will reach a guaranteed success with that one. I believe in you, Luke. Remember, I will always be by your side to guide you. I tried to refuse Burry's invitation when he shows so much care and consideration. He even had a for dummies recipe version raised just for me. Let's do it then. I'm going to cook the meat sauce and have Burry eat it with fresh noodles. I want to impress him. He's going to praise me and call me a good boy. Yeah. But if I really want to impress him, I shouldn't go with shortcuts or half measures. I know what I should do. With your guidance, I think I can just go for the proper recipe. Oh, really? Yeah, just tell me what to do and I'll follow. Assume that I know absolutely nothing about that dish and correct me whenever I'm about to make a mistake, please. Burry starts wagging his tail again, and a big smile appears on his white, adorable muzzle. Admirable spirit, Luke. I promise you will love the result. Prep time then? Prep time. Go grab some onions, garlic, celery, and carrots. Start peeling the onions. I will go collect the rest of the ingredients. I'll post our crates and vegetables and start picking those that Burry requested. I take a moment to appreciate the earthy aroma of the freshly picked celery. The vegetables smell wonderful, and that renews my appreciation for the person living at shelter. The miracle of having access to fresh ingredients in the middle of these cold lands. When I first came to these lands, food was scarce, and even dry vegetables were expensive. The local population was greatly dependent on the import from the outside. Once we set a shelter and more people joined us, it became an issue to sustain our numbers, even when there were way fewer of us. We too were completely dependent on the whims of the traveling merchants, and the threat of embargo would mean our end by the starvation. Shelter was still like an unborn baby at that time, bound to what fed and sustained it. Only once we cut the cord we had means to feed ourselves. Shelter could truly be born. If the gift of warmth was Shelter's first miracle, then food was the second. One day we gained access to great wide halls full of soil and technology for automated cultivation. It was promising, but it took us a long time to figure it out. Not impossible though. After months of hard work, we finally managed to have our first seed sprout. He was surrounded by dead, cold tundras cut away from the natural cycle, and have proven that shelter can nurture itself. We have proven that shelter can nurture life. We still keep trade with Mosebrook, the neighboring town. However, our relationship has changed for the better for both sides, I would say. The town isn't our umbilical cord that used to keep us alive anymore. Shelter is its best Celery is its own beast now, and we use more as a point of contact with the outside world for mutual profit. I find it amazing that the fate of many towns and eventually the whole country have been taken simply because we were able to feed ourselves. So, the ingredients would be, where did I have it? Are you looking for a recipe? Are you looking for your recipe? Yes, I prepared the simpler version on paper for you because I know the regular one by heart. You know what? I will just add the missing steps of what I already have prepared for you. Allow me just a moment to There you go. Burry shows me a small sheet of paper with neatly listed ingredients. There's meat, onion, garlic, oil, mashed potatoes, and a few different spices. Then at the bottom, he scribbled a dozen of celery sticks, carrot butter, red wine, and 1 egg. That's quite a lot of stuff. Would you rather try the simpler version after all? No, it's fine. It makes perfect sense considering how tasty it is. I'm getting pumped up now. I'm glad. For your first try, I gave you the amount of ingredients lasting for a few portions. I will be cooking a much larger pot on the other stove, but that's the same recipe but bigger volume. So I can mimic whatever you do? Yes, exactly. Since you will be cooking less things, you will need less time to finish some of your stages. But that's fine. You will just turn off your burner and let me catch up a couple of times. And this recipe is not an issue to let the ingredients rest mid-cooking. Sounds good. Let's start then. Roasted onions. I chose the nicest looking onion and started preparing it in a way Burry once taught me. With 2 quick glances, I cut off the root part and the stem, then cut it in half and peel off the skin by hand. Now comes the hard part. I grab one half of the onion and wetting my knife, I make a cut through it. And when I do, my eyes start to sting and tear up. Gah, stupid onions. Why do you always make me cry? After just a few cuts, my eyes start to sting and seems to blur my vision. That happens every time I chop onions. Of course they are set on making you feel bad. You are assaulting them with a knife. Not only makes me want to stab them even more, pay smelly bastards. But I can't see them. I can't see anything. There, where are you? Just be careful. Got you, onion. You're not getting away now. Take that. Look, no. I feel a strong impact against the knife as it gets jerked out of my hand and it flies at the wall. But did Burry just arm me with a strike of his own knife? What? You were about to cut your thumb off. Oh, so sorry. I can't see because of these stupid onions. It feels like being splashed in my face with acid. There's a long pause. Despite having my vision blurred, I can feel Burry's concerned look on me. I'm starting to feel sorry for him. Well, I can't imagine that your eyes may be particularly sensitive today, yes? You have been using them so much. How about you dice the celery and the carrot for now? Let your eyes recover. And get back to chopping the onion later. Remember to breathe with your mouth at all times rather than with your nose. That is what helps me. That seems to disperse that nasty acid mist. Got it. I wipe my eyes and walk towards my knife with an inch of its blade stuck in the wall. I try to pull it out again and again, but stuck. Burry? Oh, okay. Here, have this knife for now. I will return yours shortly. Thanks. He grabs the handle of my knife and jerks it out of the wall with no effort. I'm sure he'll want to clean it and sharpen it. That difference in physical strength between us is a bit embarrassing. It's often weird asking for help in little things like that because I feel like a little pup asking an adult for help. It's that we're never going to be as strong as adults, no matter how much time passes. However, I can still try to do my best in the other fields. I can celebrate how well and accurately I can dice the vegetables. Hey, this knife. Didn't you get it from tea today? Yeah, but I cleaned and sharpened it. It's good for working with food. Burry smiles as if a mere mix-up of tea cheers him up. For some reason, he seems to have a sweet spot for that dog. I was wondering about that knife. I like investigating the weapons of the ancients whenever I have a chance. Someday when we have more time, I'd love to spend more time with this one too. But now I'll focus on the task at hand. I grab a long green celery stick and use the knife to cut away the endings. The leaves and the hard part close to the root will be turned into compost later. The blade is a bit thicker than usual kitchen knife, but still very sharp. It's probably more suited for combat, but still does its job here too. The endings of the celery stick cut away. I grab it by one tip and place the knife at the opposite one. Now comes the hard part. I have to cut along its length a few times before I can dice across it. It always takes me great effort to keep my knife steady and not mess up the cut, and to not cut my fingers. Not that it matters much in the end except for the aesthetics, but I still want to show Burry that my knife skills are improving. I pressed the tip of the knife against the wooden cutting board and began making the slice across the green stick. Starting from the end opposite to me, I go down, trying to make the cleanest slice, trying to make the cleanest, straightest cut. There were intentions comparable to when I was dealing with that bomb in the morning. It takes all my effort to keep my hand steady as I run the knife down, slowly approaching the other hand, securely held in my fingers. I can feel the sweat forming over my forehead as all my focus is set at that cut. As I go further and further, I notice that I can no longer feel any resistance from the vegetable. The green stick seems to put on its own about half an inch before the blade even touches it, and it continues to do so as I keep moving the blade towards the other end at my left hand. I've never seen anything like shit. A sudden surge of pain in my numb makes me pull my left hand away. Somehow I cut myself without even touching the blade. To make matters worse, my right hand still clutches the handle of the knife when I jerk my body. I put a lot more pressure on the blade. I feel myself losing balance, and the blade splits the wooden cutting board in half. Then it sinks through the thick metal counter all the way to the hilt. What the? Luke, are you okay? Ray tosses my knife and the sharpening stone to the side and rushes towards me to look over my clenched fist. My thumb hurts and bleeds. Luke, I beg of you, be careful of your thumbs. You have only two of them. It's not my fault, it's a knife. Please stay there. I will go get a bandage. It looks like only a fresh wound, but it may still bleed for a while. Burry starts browsing through the contents of his first aid shelf, and I stare at the handle of the damn knife sticking out of the metal counter. I grab it and try to pull it out, but of course it won't budge now. Luke, Pa. I saw Burry in my hand and he starts washing it. Hey, Burry, could you pull this knife out for me too, please? No more knives for you today, Luke. I will chop the vegetables myself. I will not have you hurt yourself any further. But that wasn't my fault. There's something very weird about that knife. Burry stops for a moment. He thinks as if a sudden realization struck him. A quiet growl rumbles in his chest. Of course. How could I be so careless? That knife stinks of magic. I want to take a look at it. Please show it to me. Burry hesitates, but eventually he pulls out the knife and places it at the ends of the counter. He then grabs a bandage and starts wrapping my thumb. As Burry moves his hands apart, the skin rips and folds, exposing the red flesh underneath. I can also see the white of some bones. The dog adds a couple more small cuts and completely separates the skin from the meat. It gets it put aside with a wet splotch, and I can clearly see the fat and the veins of its underside. Then Burry grabs the bigger knife and puts strong swoopy cuts off the remaining of the stem at the top, along with a bare bone. I observe his work with full attention, but I can't help but cringe at sometimes. For some reason, seeing skin meat being cut and torn apart makes me uncomfortable. That feeling only grows stronger as I keep watching. I start to feel a bit lightheaded. But I won't look away. I have to ignore that weird phobia if I want to be more helpful to Burry. We're going to medicine, so do not worry yourself about cutting the meat perfectly. You simply have to make sure you debone as much as you can. Look for the bones first. This one seems to have grown 2 or 3. You choose one. Yank it to the side. You simply cut off the slabs of meat with your knife by the bone. Always cut away from your hand, never towards it. That's something you really need to take to heart, Luke. You probably cut your thumb earlier while working on the celery because you sliced towards your hand, huh? Luke? Your face is very pale. Are you sure you're okay? I will. I turn around and look away as I feel my mouth quickly salivating like if I were getting very close to puking. Take a deep breath and control myself, though. I just stand like that for a while and look at the wall. I'm sorry, Luke. I said prepare it in advance after all. No, I'm sorry. Please continue. I just won't look for now. Okay? I hear a quiet sigh and then the sounds of slicing continue. Then they stop again. You know? I feel slightly guilty to think that way, but to me it is somehow adorable how you react to preparation of meat. I have never seen anyone react like that. Your mind does not even waver and actual combat with actual wounds and spilled blood as much as it does now. To me, it is very cute that you feel upset about cutting meat. Be mindful that meat, just like onion or celery, doesn't live and it cannot feel. It has no brain. It is just flesh, skin, and bones. Food grows solely for us to consume it. I know. I don't know why we act like that. I just had to stop being a wuss. Oh no, Luke. I may find it adorable, but you certainly are not a wuss. A wet slimy hand plops on my head and pets through my hair. I turn my head and see at Burry's smiling face. You're the strongest person I know. The familiar sounds of frying food can be heard and a sweet scent fills the kitchen. We finally begin the actual cooking. Burry uses a gigantic pot and his prepared ingredients pile up much higher than mine. Let's hope that will be enough to feed everyone tomorrow. I used a relatively big pot too, roughly 7 liters in value. Burry said I could probably do with a smaller one, but it's better to use too big of a pot than too little for his recipe. I look at the big, fluffy dog stirring the contents of his gigantic cauldron. I get ready to start with mine. By his instruction, I put the butter into my pot and stared at it as it liquefied slowly. So, with the butter set on medium, let the butter melt. Once it is nice and hot, add your diced celery stick and carrot. The butter is all liquefied now. Is it hot enough? Throw it in a single piece and observe if it sizzles. I nod and throw in a tiny green cube of celery on top of the thin layer of melted butter. It just lays there. No, it doesn't. Then wait a moment. Add your ingredients when it does. Got it. I wait patiently, awaiting the first signs of sizzling around the green little cube swimming in butter. Once it starts bubbling and shaking, I add the rest of the diced celery and carrot to the pot. The moment I do, I get wafted with the sweet scent from my own pot. Man, it always smells nice, and it's on the veggies. It's only keep growing more enticing the further this path we venture. Remember to stir it. Do not let them burn. Crap, I haven't grabbed my spatula yet. Found one of the big wooden spoons. Do not use metal or silicone. Rush towards the drawers and start brushing through the contents and inserts of a wooden spatula or a big spoon. I find them in a drawer right under where I cut my onion before. Most of the tools there are destroyed, cut into pieces. Apparently the magic knife caused much more damage than we had initially thought. All the wooden and silicone tools in that drawer are sliced and impossible to use anymore. Burry will have to buy more at Mosburg tomorrow. However, there's still a nice looking metal spoon and all scratched but fully functional. I know that I was asked to find a wooden spoon, but there's no other choice right now. I grab it and run back to my pot in a hurry, determined not to burn anything this time. I start stirring the vegetables and I see that some of them started to get more translucent. They let out their juices and made the rising vapor smell richer. The metal spoon works just fine. I don't know why Burry was so specific about not using metal. Every single other tool we use in this is metal. We both seem to be ready to add our onions and garlic. If you think it smells good now, prepare yourself to be impressed yet again. Let's do it together, Luke. Okay, I'm ready here. And both of us push our diced onion and garlic mix into our respective pots and stir it together with the other vegetables. In a matter of seconds, the air completely turns from smelling enticing to borderline mouth-watering. Butter, celery, carrot, onion, and garlic create a much smooth and rich bouquet of aromas. This is getting really good. Yeah, this is your first little reward for the job well done. But this is only the beginning. Soon we'll get to your first real challenge. And by that you mean the meat. Yay, the meat. I'll also walk you through it very soon. For now, let us finish with the vegetables. Cook them until the onion starts getting translucent. Garlic easily burns if you're not careful, so keep stirring. If it's too hot, lower the temperature. Burry keeps giving me numerous small advice as we complete preparing the buttery vegetable mix. Then we move them to separate bowls and set them aside. We will add it much later when the meat is ready. We are going to cook the meat in the same pots as we did the vegetables in. Let's stuff the wash layer. Exactly. So, the meat now. Indeed. I'm refraining from preparing the meat in advance because it tastes the best when freshly minced before cooking. However, it will still taste good if you let it rest some time after mincing, even the next day. Just be sure to never make it out of frozen meat because the flavor difference is very noticeable. Lucky for us, we do not have that much problem with getting fresh meat. Indeed, we grow our own. I have a few plump ones here, freshly packed from our trees, still warm. Burry pulls out a big chunk of meat from the fridge and puts it on the counter. It's about as long as my forearm, and it looks absolutely terrific, beautiful. Just like the other food, the meat is grown in our local gardens. We have a few meat trees that Burry personally takes care of. That effect clearly reflects in the quality of his harvest. All the vegetables grown at shelter taste great, but the meat grown on our soil is especially high quality. Some say that it rivals the best that the canine country has to offer. Oh man, that sure is a delicious looking thick piece of meat if I have ever seen one. That's a real beauty. I could just sink my teeth into it right now. The smell is irresistible. Even without a canine nose, you can still tell a lot about the quality of the meat from how soft and lustrous the fur is. This one was at its peak day for a harvest. Sometimes I wish I could eat raw meat like you guys. It's okay, Luke. At least I love raw meat. Its true potential is still yet to be unlocked by us through cooking. You will see. So, are you going to teach me how to prepare it now? It's okay you just observe today. Are you worried that I would come myself again? Yes, that too. Sure, I'll watch. It is not that I lack faith in you. I'm only mindful of your current exhaustion, and you can sometimes act a bit weird when it comes to raw meat. It's not that bad anymore. One day I have to just man up and be able to do it with my own hands. But you're right, Burry. I know it's a hard skill to master, so it's better if I learn from observation for now. Especially since it's nice for meat preparation, is much sharper than anything else in your arsenal. Their sharpness is in fact something that makes them makes them safer to use. Oh, their softness is in fact something that makes them safer to use. It keeps your cut smooth and steady. There's nothing more dangerous in butchery than a worn-out knife. But first, you need to know where to see the blade in the first place. Burry grabs a small knife and uses his other hand to pinch some of the skin at the side. There are a few ways to skin the meat. What I like to do is to grab at this spot here where the skin is the loosest. Then make a small cut, just enough to put a few of your fingers into the pocket between the skin and the flesh. Now, with both of your hands, grab the skin really hard and pull apart with all your strength. Okay, just look at it. Sure. Take a deep breath and focus. I'm going to glance, only for a short moment. Here we go. I see. It's quite fine. Oh, yeah. It uses some simple concepts, but the parts it's made of give it versatility, and great potential. In a way, it reminds me of Wound Sword. That good? I think so. It will change depending on the user. When I look at it in mana vision, it glows yellow, the color of the avian waste and other matters infused in this blade. The avians can negate gravity as a waste ability. That does not sound like something that could be used to improve cutting. Yes, but with the right technology, the relics can bend the use of mana in unnatural ways. Avian mana on its own could potentially be used to create blades of pressure air. But this knife isn't as crude. See that smooth stone at the top of the handle? And the see patterns infused in mana there. Stones like that are used for siphoning mana. In this case, the hood's mana immenses wherever it siphons along the avian mana is already infused with, and then passes it through the blade using this whim of the metal, creating a spell-like effect. Depending on the speech of the holder, the effect will be different. I'm sorry, Luke. I have a hard time understanding your explanation sometimes. Sorry, basically with your high proficiency in mind control, it's completely safe for you to keep it. It'll act like a normal knife unless you will to amplify. It's hard to predict the exact effect until you do, though. I don't remember what's the canine avian spell or avian canine. I see. Thank you, Luke. You're welcome. I was curious about this knife too. I'm glad to have my curiosity satisfied. While you're at it, would you like to take a look at the other relic as well? The one I found under the table? Ah, damn it. Of course I do. But I just ended mana vision. It may as well. We've gotten ourselves distracted long enough. I will give you a knife to last whilst, and we can get back to cooking. Burry puts the magic knife back in its holster and pats my head with affection. I can see deep concern on his face. Please be careful. We have not even diced the vegetables yet, and you already almost lost your thumb 2 times. It's okay. As soon as we are done with that, the rest will be safe, right? I sure hope so. There's one specific thing that they all have in common. It is not about something that they are, but rather that they are not. I think that is an angle you should approach if you wish to understand the teak. I stared at him for a moment without saying anything. I just nod and look away, and not really happy with his response. At this point, I think I care less about understanding Teak's stupid reasoning and more about simply not being a target of unjustified hate. It all has been too tiring. Why is it that Burry expects me to put effort to understanding a bully? There's no damn logic in that. Does he actually favoritize Teak? Or is it something wrong with me? Something that I'm not, huh? I hear a deep, worried sigh. Burry must have noticed my frustration. Forgive me, Luke. Guess that is not the point. The point is that you take his words as something harmful, and that absolutely cannot stand. Tomorrow before I go to Mosberg, I will find Teak and I will have a talk with him, okay? We will have a true heart-to-heart that will make him swear to treat you for as much kindness as he deserves everyone else. As much kindness as he does everyone else. I'm certain that he will listen to me. I promise you, you are never going to hear any words from Teak ever again. Yeah, my word. Thank you. Sorry, Burry. I shouldn't have talked about those things here at our hangout. I'm glad that you did, Luke. I would not wish for you to keep a burden like that in silence. Now, with plans set to ease it, let's live through the rest of the day with much lighter hearts. Remember that you can always speak to me. I'm your friend, Luke. He passed my shoulder again. I can't help but feel much better. In the end, maybe it's good that we talked about that. Now we can focus on what really matters, us having a good day. Anyway, the meat. Yes, a lot of the liquid has evaporated, so let's steal it. Do not let it burn. Burry smiles and grabs his wooden spoon from the edge of his pot to mix the meat. I can see thick white steam rises from high temperature. That's so hot. I now return my attention to my own stove to do the same. In the corner of my eye, I can only barely notice panic rapidly growing on Burry's face as my hand reaches for my big metal spoon that I left on the edge of my own pot. Luke! Ah! Hey, Burry. What do you think about Teak? What do you mean? Like, in general? Burry chuckles and gets lost in thought for a moment. What could he be thinking about? I think he is a wonderful boy. Kind, passionate, adorably innocent. There is so much untapped potential in him, and yet he is too timid to truly grasp it. I wish he could find the courage to speak out his heart confidently. Sometimes I feel like he is too precious for the life he chose. A vulnerable little puppy like him should be kept here and protected. I turn my head to Burry, finally give him an exaggerated, long, silent stare. I wait for a punchline to his joke, but that never comes. He glances at me, confused. What? Are we talking about the same dog? You asked about Teak, right? Yes, the biggest asshole in the shelter. Burry turns his head towards me and looks surprised. Why are you saying that? This is not like you. Do you really not hear how he talks to me? He hates me. I've never done anything to him. Burry looks down and turns his head back to the pot. He sighs and thinks for a while. Yes, I caught some of that, but I'm surprised that you would take that to heart so much. Seriously, Burry? Why wouldn't I? He has been saying some really awful things to me, and it really hurts because I try to be good to him, but he hates me simply because I'm a human. Something I didn't choose and can never change. I don't even know why he hates humans, only that he does, and he will always despise me too because I happen to be one. That is so disheartening. I look away and try to calm myself because I feel like I'm getting way too upset about it right now. I just can't help but feel a bit angry whenever I think about it. I feel Burry putting his hand on my shoulder. When I glance at him, he looks sad and conflicted. Luke, I'm not going to attempt to justify Teak, but in my opinion, it may not be as bad as it appears to you. You can't be by surprise now, because you have always been the one to seek to understand other people, and yet it seems like with Teak, your vision is clouded by your hurt ego. I truly do not think that Teak opposes you because you are a human. Burry, he literally says he does, over and over. Okay, yes, true. However, he speaks of the other races too. Tell me, does he ever voice out sympathy towards those? Humans, rodents, felines, ungulates, solans, and avians? Following the same advice I use when frying vegetables, I test the hotness of the oil before I put all the minced meat into the pot. The sounds of cooking play loudly across the kitchen, but the smell is as constantly gratifying as the mix of butter and vegetables was. Aside from the flavor, the reason why we're using oil to fry the meat is because it can reach higher temperatures. We're going to keep the heat cranked up to the max until all the meat is fried. That's a lot of meat. Indeed, this is the second most tiring phase of this recipe. You have to make sure that the meat doesn't burn, and that will require a lot of constant mixing over the steaming hot stove. But not just yet. For now, add some salt and a generous amount of black pepper into the mix. It's a pot. Mix it and let it rest. It's so full of juices right now that it will take quite a while before it evaporates to get to properly cooked. Oh yeah, you're right. It's letting out a lot of water. Can't I just pour that water out into the sink to speed it up? Absolutely not. That's where all the flavor is. If we let the moisture evaporate, the flavor will stay concentrated in the pot, but we will lose it if we got rid of all the liquids. Be patient, I promise you it will be worth it. I now Burry grabbed my salt and pepper grinder to spice up the meat, and I grab it a thorough mix. I see that Burry left his pot uncovered, so I do the same. I also see that he placed his wooden spoon on the top edge of the pot, so I do the same with my metal one. We probably won't need to be using our spoons for a while. Right now it's simmering rather than frying. Burry is staring silently around the kitchen, so I guess right now we just wait. Maybe I should break the silence and talk about something. Clutch my hand with a hiss of pain. Burry quickly turns the stoves off and grabs me by the collar of my shirt to guide me to the sink. He turns on the tap with cold water and puts my hand there to be washed in the cold. Open your hand, let the cool water wash over it. It takes me some effort to force my fist to open. I do my best to not let out any more noises, to not worry Burry even further, but it hurts so much. I'm so sorry, Luke. It's my fault I did not know it sooner. I should have told you to use a wooden spoon. You told me, you did. But we didn't have any wooden tools around, and I was in a hurry. You should have let me know. I would have found you one or given you mine. It's so easy to get hurt with improper tools when one's focus wavers. It's okay, I survived worse. It doesn't even hurt that much. It hurts a lot. When I look at it, I can see blisters. Stay here and keep your hand under running water. I will grab the bandages. Again. We are already halfway through, Luke. Please do not lose your life for this. Now, is it good yet? No, Luke, not yet. What about now? Not yet, Luke. Okay, but now it looks cooked. It changed color and everything. For the 100th time, no, not yet. Patience. It's already been almost half an hour. I don't want to burn it. We've been working so hard on it. Just keep stirring. I'm keeping my eye on your pot, so I'll tell you when it's ready. Relax, Luke. There's still some liquid left. You will notice clearly once all the liquid evaporates, it actually starts to fry in the remaining oil instead of cooking in that meat juice soup. You will get less steam and the sound will clearly change into a sharp tone, very much like when you fry an egg in a pan or like now? No, Luke, not yet. Oh wait, actually yes, like this. This is it. Now that all of the liquid has evaporated and only the meat and oil remain, let it fry for a few more minutes. It is already deep cooked, but we want to get it golden brown for a hint of crispiness. Keep stirring. We will be adding our butter simmered vegetable mix soon. You can lower the heat to medium for now. Roger. I lower the heat on the pot and keep stirring the meat vigorously, making sure to not let it stick to the bottom of the sides. Luckily, we have high quality pots and nothing sticks to them. The merchant at most works sure that The brothers at Mosebrook swore they were casting out a liquid magma from a live volcano. I don't know how much truth there is in that. The Mercers are well known for coloring up their stories of their goods to a ridiculous degree. The pots sure do their job, though. The meat finally starts to smell really good. Yes, this is when everything finally starts to come together. Let's add our vegetables now, Luke. Got it, I'm ready. And in unison, we dump our buttery onion, garlic, carrot, celery mix into our respective pots and stir along with our meat. The combined scent of all those ingredients rises out of our pots and makes us both let out satisfied groans. Just like he said, it's all starting to come together now. It's unbelievable that something I made can smell so good. I feel like a real fancy pants chef now. Obviously, I keep telling you, you can learn anything you put your mind to. And we have not even gotten to the fancy pants part of the recipe yet. Keep stirring the pot for a few more minutes. Let the flavors mix and then we will be adding the wine. Man, that's fancy. I keep working with my spoon relentlessly and reach out with my free hand for the jug full of red wine that we had prepared beforehand. It smells nice and fruity. I like wine. Maybe I could have a little sip. Burry tastes the ingredients all the time for adding, so why shouldn't I? I bring the jug to my lips and tilt it so I can have a taste, while at the same time making sure to not neglect stirring the pot with a spoon in my other hand, like a multitask. Yeah, that's good wine. It's hard for me to tell if it was brewed here at Celtic or imported. I'll need to ask Burry. We managed to set up a few little breweries, but some of the alcohol still comes from Mosebrook. We have a few hobbyist brewers around at Celtic, but no dedicated specialists. I wonder how much does Burry know about brewing alcohol, and if he could teach me someday. Gah! It hits as my forearm brushes against the hot edge of the pot. With the jug still by my lips at that time, a bit of the red wine splashes out as I jerk my arm. It splatters over my mouth and drips on the floor between my feet. Damn it. Now I have to go and grab a way to wipe myself on the floor. It should be about ready to add the wine now. Increase the heat back to maximum, man. Luke, why are you wet with wine? I was trying to take a sip. Never mind. You'll have a moment to clean yourself soon. For now, pour the wine into the pot, please. Okay. And remember, one thing at a time. You can let go of your spoon for now. I'm not following instructions. I increase the heat under the pot from medium back to maximum and put the jug of wine over the meaty mix. I pour in a little wine and get hit with a wave of aromas. Whoa, that's good. Told you. Still, I see you are being too careful with the wine. Pour in more, nearly to the level to cover the meat. That much? Are you sure? That's a lot of wine. Isn't it all going to taste like booze? No, Luke, do not worry. We're going to give it some time to evaporate in high heat. All the alcohol will go away and leave only the color and flavor. It will hit into our flavor palette very nicely. Are you going to pour wine into yours? Oh, well. Burry scratches the side of his chin in embarrassment. We are nearly out of wine. I was going to buy more in Williamsburg tomorrow. Oh, so it is imported? Yes, but do not worry. Me and the guys will bring a lot tomorrow. For today, please use as much as you need, and I will take the rest. Go ahead, start pouring. I will let you know when it's enough. I feel quite guilty about chugging that wine now. Burry doesn't seem to mind, though. He looks at the jug in my hand and waits for me. I start pouring it into the mix. More and more of the crimson booze spills into the pot, and Burry just keeps observing without a word. I keep pouring out. Then, by the time he asks me to stop, almost all the meat is covered in wine, and the jug is nearly empty. The single wave of the aroma of evaporating alcohol turns into a barrage of overwhelming scents. They completely overshadow the fragrance of the vegetables in the meat. Wow, That's sure something. Yes, I love this face. Please pass me the jug and get your face closer to the pot. Take a deeper breath of the steam. You'll love it too. He takes the jug with the wine leftovers, and I follow his advice. I get my face over the wine simmering mixture and take a breath of the steam. The more I do, I get completely overwhelmed by the sharp stench of alcohol invading my nostrils. I choke and stumble back blindly, with Burry laughing heartily by my side. Then I suddenly feel my whole body rapidly falling backwards as my foot slips over the wine I spilled earlier. Oh, got you. I find my landing soft. I find my landing soft and secure, wrapped in one of Burry's massive arms. He smiles cheerfully with his snout only inches away from my face. Without usually being prone to overreacting to hazards, right now he looks overjoyed. He must be outside. He can sometimes act carefree like that when he's in a particularly good mood. How was it? Do you like it? Wow. Strong, right? It really clears up your nose. Yeah, you're right. It took me by surprise, but it actually feels nice in the afterglow, and I actually like this scent. It was so rich, I feel I could get drunk with the vapors alone. I was looking forward to your reaction to that. I want to share all those strong, wonderful scents with you. That's one of the beauties of cooking with me. Burry helps me to my feet and passes me the bat. Then he glances into the jug with leftover wine. Sorry for drinking and spilling the wine. Now you don't have enough for your own sauce. Do not let it weigh on your conscience, Luke. We would have not had enough. We would have not had nearly enough for my amount of meat regardless. Not that it was necessary in the first place. Cheers, Luke, for your first guys ablaze. Burry brings the jug to his mouth and chugs down the last of the wine with a couple big gulps. That's unexpected, but that's unexpected. How was it? Do you like it? Wow. Strong, right? It really clears up your nose. Um, I mean, yeah, you're right. Took me by surprise, but it actually feels nice in the afterglow. I actually like this scent. It was so rich that I feel I could get drunk with the vapors alone. I was looking forward to your reaction to that. I want to share all those strong, wonderful scents with you. That is one of the beauties of cooking to me. Burry helps me to my feet and passes my back. He then glances to the jug with leftover wine. Sorry for drinking and spilling the wine. Now you don't have enough for your own sauce. Don't let it weigh on your conscience, Luke. We would have not had nearly enough for my amount of meat regardless. Not that it was necessary in the first place. Cheers, Luke, for your first guys ablaze. Burry brings the jug to his mouth and chugs down the last of the wine with a couple big gulps. That's unexpected. Burry rarely drinks. Definitely not at work. Definitely never at work. But then again, we technically aren't at work anymore. It's just a casual hangout and he's clearly having fun. That makes me happy too. So you're saying the wine isn't necessary? Indeed it is not. The simplified recipe I had prepared for you lacked wine, butter, some of the vegetables, yet I do not consider that version much inferior. There are many ways to approach this recipe. This one is simply my personal favorite. It takes a few more steps and ingredients, but I know you will appreciate the extra effort. Now, Luke, we are about to reach the final steps of your quest. Really? Yes. Your journey might have been long and challenging, with many wounds suffered as a reminder of your trials. But keep comfort in the fact that your sacrifice is not going to be for naught. Soon you shall taste victory. The spores of divine smells and flavors are within your reach, Luke. Way! Right the floor so you don't slip again. I will bring mashed potatoes. The next steps are very straightforward. Once the pot stops smelling of booze, we dump mashed potatoes in our pots to be the base for the whole sauce. Then some more salt, much more black pepper, a nice big sprinkle of oregano, and much more careful one of basil. You can allow yourself to be fairly generous with oregano and black pepper, but be very mindful to do not overdo it with basil or salt. Those can overpower and unbalance the composition. Remember, Luke, you can always add more salt and spices to the dish if it is lacking. It is impossible to take them out if you overdo it, though. Stir it. Give it a minute for the spice to release the flavor and then taste it. I do as Burry tells me. I stir the spices into the sauce, give it a moment, and grab a tablespoon to take a sample of the sauce. Even before I taste the sauce, I can always tell from the scents alone that it's perfect. I need to shout in happiness as I look at Burry. A curious smile curls at his muzzle. Burry, it's delicious, meaty and spicy and a little sweet, and... May I have a taste? Of course, sure. Of course, here. In my excitement, I don't even wipe my teaspoon before I take another sample with it and present it to him. I catch him in an awkward situation where he's in the process of reaching for my pot with his own clean spoon, and I present him a sample in front of his mouth to feed him. Sorry. I linger for a moment, then start to slowly move my hand back. My brother leans his head closer and starts blowing at the sample in the spoon that I'm holding. Then he opens his mouth and eats it. For a second, I feel a bit embarrassed about the spoon feeding Burry like that, but I remember all the times when Burry fed me whenever I was bedridden. This isn't real for us. Burry nods and smiles. His brows furrow slightly, and he raises his finger as if to say some kind of a correction. But he stops, lingers for a moment, and sighs. Yes, Luke, it is perfect. Wonderful job. Really? Indeed, the meat and vegetables are well cooked. The spices are not overpowering. It is absolutely delicious. It's going to go great with the noodles. Splendid, Luke. I expected nothing less of you. Ray puts his big clawed hand on my head and pets it with a big proud smile on his beautiful white muzzle. I couldn't be any happier. Why does your hair feel crusty? He leans in close and sniffs my head from up close. He's so close that I can feel his warm, pleasantly smelling breath. When did you get your hair in raw meat? Probably when you... Good thing we're going to have a bath soon. You're going to enjoy it after standing by the pots for so long. I always do. Are we done then? Are we ready to serve and dig in? Oh, no. But it is true that we have reached the final step. This one is also the longest and arguably the hardest. We're going to let it simmer on low heat. Let the sauce thicken a little. How long? Like 10 minutes? Ideally, we'll leave it for something between 4 to 6 hours. No way. We don't have that much time. I'm hungry. Don't worry, Luke. We're not going to stay here for so long. Less than an hour will be enough. We'll use a little trick to get what we want without starving to death in the process. That's going to give us time to prepare the noodles on our table and to have a little rest. It's going to be hard to wait so long with those smells in the kitchen. At least you're not a canine. That would be even harder. Sometimes I wish I was. I mean, like right now, I wish I could smell it the same way as you can. Even here, I'm probably missing out so many nice details in the smells. I nervously clear my throat and look away. I slip some unnecessary words out, but I really don't want to bother Burry with my existential crisis. Stop it, Luke. You know, you can smell like me if you want, even if it's just for a brief moment. Oh, that's right, canine manner. You probably have not done that in a while. No, it's been so peaceful for so long, there's no need to. I am the same. Peace makes one grow rusty in regards of magic. Yet if you wish it so, I will attempt to share my matter with you. I stand and think, looking at Burry in silence. I am nervous about his idea because dealing with mana of other species can be straining and overwhelming, but a part of me is excited. Neither me nor Burry are strangers to the interracial side of magic. We rarely use that in something so casual, though. All living beings capable of conscious thoughts produce mana throughout the course of their lives. That energy seeps out of people's bodies and take part in a natural circle, cultivating new life and fueling other natural phenomena. It can also be burnt to activate certain abilities. Each species has their own abilities specific to their mana type. No person can internally produce mana of other species, but it can be transferred between species for a brief use. That can happen in a few ways. Burry is so essentially skilled in controlling the flow of mana that he can pass it to me by touch. If he does, I can then burn it. There are a few steps to the intensity of how mana can be burnt. The most basic one, when used by another species, is to heighten one's senses close to the natural level of that mana's original species. For example, when the dogs burn my mana, they say that they can see and think clearer than ever for a brief moment. When I burn canine mana, I can smell better and see in dim light. In short, Burry wants to pass some as canine mana so I can briefly smell the simmering meat sauce in as much detail as he can. Do you think that's wise? I haven't done it in a while. At least so, simply heightening one's senses is not as straining of a process as your mana vision or our pack mentality. Those abilities take effort to master regardless of species. If you try to reach pack mentality, it would be like when you had the stove set on maximum heat, you were not able to take a moment of rest and stew in the meat, or else it would burn. Using my mana to amplify your body is similar to how the pot is right now, simmering on low heat. Very little is happening and we can have rest. I know, it's just been so long. I will not force you if you do not want it. That was only a suggestion. I want it. Let's do it. Okay then, give him a moment, please. Burry takes a deep breath and puts one of his hands on my chest. He stands still in silence with his arm in a position resembling open palm martial arts techniques. If I were to use mana vision now, I'm certain that I could see rapid flow of mana within his body, concentrating at his hands. He's preparing to pass to me. Relax, Luke. Before I even have a chance to reply, he takes away the hand that he had on my chest, and at the same time he used the other one to strike the same spot with his open palm. I lose my breath for a moment, and I'm pushed a step back, but Burry was mindful enough of the strength to not cause any real injury he would never hurt. It failed, did it not? Did it? The big dog groans in disappointment and crosses his arms. Lost in thought, he looks irritated and embarrassed. I'm unaware how our saber had gotten. As soon as I manifested mana on my palms, it was pulled away and dispersed by shelter. I could not keep it in place. There would not have been an issue in the past. I neglected my train way too much. Hey, it's okay. It wasn't for anything important anyway. The fact that you can still manifest mana at will shows that you have completely lost your edge. You are at a great handicap here at shelter. It can't stay stable in its otherworld form because it's constantly being pulled away by the relics. Indeed, I can coat my palm with it, but the moment I move, the strike and balances so much I lose my hold of it. It's okay. I'll just enjoy the smells the normal way. I put my hand on his shoulder and smile. Thank you for trying. Burry smells bad, but his tense expression lingers. Trying is not enough. I want to give you that experience. Nothing we can do about it. Don't let it bother you. There's something we could try, though, if you were willing. Try what? You see, it is not a process well understood by most people, but I stare and build my mana through my fluids. Only if you were willing. I could concentrate my mind on my saliva and stare it in a kiss. That way Shadow would not have a chance to siphon it. My concealing fluids is more difficult to release for the burning process. But do not worry, I will assist you in imitating the release and burning. After that, however, you will have to control it yourself. But I am certain that you are up to the task. You have always been decent at burning and controlling mana. The only question is this something that you would be interested in? I mean, just so you're aware, have no hidden intentions. That is simply a ritual that I have learned in the course of my studies, completely pragmatic, with no romantic undertones whatsoever. I know, totally. So, I can't look Burry straight in the face. I understand his laws, and I know that he just wants me to. I know that he just wants to do me a favor, but kissing him would be too much. No, it's fine. He always smells amazing as it is. No need to be greedy. Are you sure? It's hard for me to read Burry's expression right now. It's stuck in something of a mix between relief and disappointment. Yeah, we can try another time. Maybe we could have lunch outside and then you would power me up with your hands there. Shadow doesn't pull mana outside, so that should be easier. Yes, you are correct. Forgive me, I did not want you to put in an uncomfortable position. I merely wish to make it a more entertaining experience for you. Oh, Burry, it's already entertaining. Don't you worry about that. I lightly bump his bed with my fist and smile. He seems to be reassured with that. We spent another half an hour preparing the noodles. Burry promised me that he would let me make them the next time, but today we had limited time, so he took that upon himself. We could have used some of the noodles that he prepared and dried in the past, but he was really set on making today's dinner as good as it could be, everything made fresh. It didn't look that complicated. Flour, oil, eggs, and salt rolling out the dough looked like something I would have to take some time Rolling out the dough looked like something I would have to take some time practicing, though. That looked tiring. Eventually, Burry throws cut and stretched strings of noodles into boiling salted water. Then he passes me an egg. The eggs are a cheat for thickening the sauce early. It also melts down the acidity of the tomatoes. We turn the heat off, just crack it into the pot and stir into the sauce vigorously. I follow those final instructions. Heat off, one egg in, stir. And finally the sauce is ready. This Burry is still spending a few last minutes over the noodles. I take care of preparing a table for us in the tavern. I pour some ale and light up a little candle for extra fanciness. Soon Burry finishes the noodles, so I chase him away to wait for me at the table, and I do the plating. 2 bowls of noodles and 0 scoops of meat sauce. My meat sauce. After roughly 2 hours of cooking, the food finally lands on the table. I hope you enjoy it. Well, I certainly will. It looks and smells spectacular. And let's hope that it tastes good too. After such a long time of smelling this sauce during the cooking, I feel more than ready to dig in. I grab my fork, roll a little bowl of noodle with the sauce and start delivering it to my mouth. My hand lingers though. I keep staring at Burry, anxious about his reaction to the first bite. What is he going to say? Will he like it? The looks and the smell are one thing, but it's all about the taste in the end. Burry, despite having fairly thick fingers, uses the fork with great dexterity. He rolls up some of the sauce-covered noodles, blows at them to cool down, and finally he eats it. It's sometimes hard to tell with Burry, but I think he closes his eyes and focuses on the flavor. He chews, then swallows. And he makes a gentle nod of approval and a smile, a sigh of relief. Absolutely flawless. I would be hard-pressed to have done better. Stop it. Burry laughs and I hear his wagging tail brushing the floor beneath his seat. Go ahead, try yourself. And I eat the first scoop. As I keep chewing, my mouth is still filled with a wonderful, confident mix of a wide range of flavors, just like the scents were. The meat is juicy and well cooked. The vegetables soft but not mushy. The tomato base is completely infused with a mix of all of the other flavors, and the spices give it more depth. Even noodles don't act like a flavorless filler, but they held a delicious eggy flavor of their own. They wonderfully complement the strength of the sauce and increase appetite for the next bites. I take another bite, then another. I can't stop eating until I'm roughly a quarter of the bowl done. Then I chug down some ale and finally take a break. Oh man, this is good. I told you, you can be proud of yourself. It's only because I follow your instructions. And you did a good job at that. If you want, the next time I can show you how to make that noodle seed cake with layers of meat sauce and the white sauce. Oh, yes, please. I love that one. Splendid. The red meat sauce was the hardest part. The white sauce is just milk, butter, flour, salt, nutmeg, and hard cheese. There's nothing. Oh, wow, Louise. I'm hard when you call a luxurious sauce like that nothing. I couldn't have imagined you saying that in the past when the food was scarce. Well, I'm not saying that ingredients are nothing on the recipe. I do appreciate the bounties of Cellar deeply, believe me. Every time I set my feet into the gardens, I thank the ancients from the bottom of my heart for these gifts. I still remember the first meal that you made me, in the cavern when we first met. Oh, no, please do not remind me. I'm still deeply ashamed of feeding you those old boiled scraps. That was the most delicious thing that I've ever eaten in my entire life. Burry shakes his head and grunts in disagreement and embarrassment. That was only because you were in such a dire state. You were gravely malnourished. I had to feed you something, anything. I had barely anything. I had no choice. But no more. I'm never going to feed you garbage like that ever again. Once we found Cellar and cleared it of its nightmares. When you decided to make it our home, I made a resolution that you would eat only delicious food from that day onward. To show my gratitude for everything that you went through for me, Luke. Thank you for saving me. And he continues to eat the noodles. I stare at him confused. What? You are the one who literally saved me. I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for you. Even now, neither the tavern nor the gardens would work without your help. My debt for you only keeps growing. You and the tavern. The only reason we have it now is because You do not remember, do you? Never mind, you're correct. We both need each other. We can both contribute to each other's happiness. I will just keep doing my part and making sure that you're well fed. That is the least I can do. He resumes eating. He's always halfway done with his portion. I feel happy watching him eat. Despite being a calm person, he rarely acts so nostalgic. He must be very excited today. Anyway, great job on the sauce. Good boy. That's the mid-afternoon scene for Burry. Next time we'll begin the evening scene. So I enjoyed that entire scene of them preparing the food for themselves. All the ingredients were described in great detail, and it was a nice scene. Just the two of them together, have a good time. Two best friends who know each other for a long time. really enjoy Burry so far. I think he seems to be like my favorite of the three because he's very considerate and kind towards Luke. He always gets nervous, or he always gets very scared whenever Luke gets hurt, like when he cut his thumb or if something hot falls on him. He always get very concerned and just panics whenever Luke is hurt. And Luke really looks up to Burry. He looks up to him a lot. He always praises his cooking, and he constantly wishes that he was a dog like Burry and the rest of them. He wishes that he had claws and strength and the ability to smell. Well, he does have the ability to smell, but he wishes he had their ability to smell things that humans can't smell. In that part where Luke discusses about Teak, I have to disagree with Burry, what he said about having to understand Teak. Whether you understand him or not, that doesn't justify him bullying Luke. I don't think Burry was trying to justify it, but I don't think Burry really has seen the full extent of Teak being mean to Luke. I mean, I know he himself said that he's seen Teak say negative things to him, say negative things to Luke, but I don't think he's really been around enough to see just how bad Teak is to Luke. Because Burry still thinks of Teak as a kind and innocent young dog. He may be like that towards Burry and the other dogs, but he hasn't been like that towards Luke. And I don't think you should just have to understand somebody who's bullying you. I mean, whether even if you do understand them, there's no justification for the way they treat you. And again, I'm not saying that Burry's trying to justify. I don't think I'm very much doubtful that he's trying to justify it, but it's just that if somebody's bullying you, there's no excuse. There's no justification for somebody bullying somebody. And the person who's being bullied should not have to take up with it. So Burry did tell Luke that he's going to have a good talk with Teak in the morning before he goes to Mooresbark, and he's going to tell Teak to treat Luke better and stop bullying him. So I'm happy that Burry has decided to do something about Teak. So hopefully after his talk with Teak will, I don't know, he'll stop, but at least hopefully he will calm down with the whole bullying stuff. He'll probably still have a hatred towards Luke just because he's human, but hopefully he'll at least leave Luke alone and just tolerate being around Luke. So that's all I have to say for now. Next time we'll begin the evening scene with Burry's route, in which they it was to enjoy the warm bath and they celebrate Skies Ablaze. They're going to have a enjoy the bath, enjoy swimming in the bath in the warm water while watching the Skies Ablaze. So that would be fun to see. It would be Luke, Burry, Max, and Room all in the bath scene. So all the information for shelters in the description box below. That's all I have to say. Thanks very much for tuning in. Goodbye.